Welcome to Soapbox Theatre TV, hosted by Stiltskin Theatre Company.
Hello everybody, it's Jacqueline from the Soapbox Theatre in Plymouth. We hope you're all fit and well. As you can't come to the theatre at the moment, we thought we'd bring the theatre to you. So find somewhere comfy to sit and enjoy a story. This is the story of the little brave tailor. The little tailor was someone who made clothes. He would take pieces of cloth and then, using his scissors, he would cut out the shape of the clothes he was making, and using his needle and thread, he would stitch them together. The little tailor worked in his shop and lived up above in a little flat. Across the road from the little tailor was his beloved, his fiancée. They were going to get married. And every day they would meet out on the road and sit on the bench, and they would talk and they would laugh, and then they would kiss and say goodnight. One night the little tailor was sat with his beloved, and he was sad. In fact, he wasn't just sad, he was miserable. "What is the matter with you?" asked his beloved. "Well," said the little tailor, "the problem is I just can't feel fear. Every time I try and feel fear, it just doesn't come." "Well," said his beloved, "you need to do something about it, because we can't get married until you can feel fear." "But what can I do?" said the little tailor. "Why don't you go on an adventure to find fear?" said his beloved. "What a great idea," said the little tailor. "I shall pack my bag tonight and head off tomorrow morning." And so that night the little tailor went back into his flat, and he took his bag, and into his bag he placed his trusty scissors called shears, and his needle and thread. Who knows, he thought, I might have to mend my clothes. Then he also packed a sandwich for on the journey, and the little tailor was learning to juggle. And so he put his juggling balls in, just in case. The next morning, the little tailor woke up as the sun rose and was very excited about his journey to find fear. And so he took his bag, placed it over his shoulder, and off he went, out of the town and on his way. Now, as he went, the little tailor came to a wood. The wood was a huge wood, and it was notorious for being a little bit scary. There was a path that led all the way around the wood, which would have taken longer for the little tailor to take, and that was the easy path. Although it would have taken longer, it just wasn't scary. Or there was the path that went in through the wood. That was the scary path. Which path do you think the little tailor took? The one going around the wood, or the one going through the wood? The little tailor turned on his heel and started to head through the wood, the scary wood, or so everybody had said. He was looking forward to find fear. As the little tailor walked through the wood, it was actually quite pretty to begin with. There were flowers on the floor, and the leaves were all green. But as he carried on going, the trees became closer together, and they had scary faces in their bark. But the little tailor was not afraid. He carried on going. Further and further into the wood he went. It became darker and darker, but he was not afraid at all, not a bit. In fact, he found it a little bit boring. "Oh," he said, "God, I wish this wood would hurry up and get over and done with, or if something would come out and scare me," but nothing ever did. As the little tailor walked through the wood, he began to notice fine pieces of thread that went between the trees. And if he looked up high, he could see that they were all matted together, woven together. "Oh," he said, "it's quite beautiful." And when he took hold of the piece of thread and pulled it, pa-ding, 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 he felt like silk. could use this thread to spin into cloth, and then I could make the most beautiful garments ever, said the little tailor. The little tailor took a moment. He sat down on a tree stump, took off his bag, and had a little rest. And as he was resting, up high, 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 high above him, up there in the trees, caught in the web, was something very scary, something very frightening, something that had spied the little tailor as he walked through the wood and thought he looked tasty. And as the little tailor sat down on his tree stump, down came the creature. 8 spindly white legs, 8 shiny black eyes, a great big body, and huge fangs. It let itself down bit by silent bit on the thread. Further and further it came, a massive white spider. The spider began to come closer and closer to the little tailor until it was just hanging over his head. It dropped itself silently down behind the little tailor and was about to stick its fangs into his neck when the little tailor said, "Oh, hello, spider. What are you doing here?" Well, the little spider, big spider, was taken quite by surprise. Was this little person not afraid of it? "Oh," said the little tailor, "isn't this word wonderful? Oh, is all of this silk to do with you?" "Oh," said the spider, "why aren't you afraid? I've come down here to eat you. In fact, I'm just going to get you anyway." And the spider grabbed the little tailor and wrapped him up until he was wrapped up tight inside the silk. Well, the little tailor sat there inside the silk thinking, this is really quite ridiculous and not helping me with my journey at all. And if that spider thinks it's frightened me, well, not in any way whatsoever. I'm not afraid of spiders. And so, whilst inside the silk, the little tailor, who still had his bag on, wriggled and jiggled until he found his shears. And he began to snip, 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 snip his way through the silk. He snipped and he snipped and he snipped, and he snipped and he snipped and he snipped, and then he snipped and he snipped and he snipped some more, until he popped out of the silk. "Oh," said the little tailor, "that was great fun. I went spinning around and around and around, and now I'm out again." Well, the spider could not believe it. "Oh," it said. And then the spider saw the shears. "What are they?" said the spider. "They look so sharp." The spider began to shiver and shake in fear. Said the little tailor, "These are very sharp. They're so sharp they could snip off a spider's leg just like that, and then another, and then another, and another, and then 4 more. "Oh," said the spider, "oh dear, then take them away, take them away." "I tell you what," said the little tailor, "I will put these shears away if you allow me to get through this forest without any more problems. And then, when I've got to the back of the forest and all the way through, if you let me have your silk, I will send you all of the lovely things that you would like to eat." "Oh," said the spider, "oh, so you'll send me apple pies?" "Well, of course I will." "Oh, and oh, will you send me strawberries and cream?" "Strawberries and cream? No problem," said the little tailor. "Oh, well, of course I'll get you through the wood," said the spider. And so the little tailor put his shears away, and the spider helped him to get to the edge of the wood. And as they went, they chattered and they had a laugh, and all was well. The little tailor came to the edge of the wood, waved goodbye to the spider, and the spider went back to bundle up all its silk, and the little tailor promised he would send the spider lots of lovely food. Well, said the little tailor, that was a bit boring. I wasn't frightened at all. I'll carry on along my way. And so the little tailor took off and carried on his journey. The little tailor kept on walking, and he walked until he came to a mountain. Now, the mountain was notorious for being quite a scary mountain. And as before with the woods, there was a path that went all the way around the mountain, the long path, but not the scary path. Or there was the path that was the shortcut that went through the mountain, and that was the scary path. Which path do you think the little tailor took? Did he go all the way around the mountain, or did he cut through on the shortcut and the scary path? The little tailor turned, and up he went through the shortcut of the mountain. Oh, the mountain shortcut was quite steep, but he kept on going. He was looking forward to being afraid. Up and up and up he went, up and up and up, until it began to get quite dark. The little tailor found a cave. It was time for him to have a rest and a snooze. And so he took off his bag, and from out of his bag he took his sandwich and his juggling balls, because he thought he could have a little practice before he went to sleep. Right. Oh, yeah. Hey, woo-hoo-hoo! Not bad, said the little tailor. He ate his sandwich and fell asleep. The little tailor had quite a good sleep that night, tucked up in the cave. But then he was disturbed in his sleep. He opened one eye, and then the other. And then he heard it. A rumbling coming up the mountain. Something was coming closer to the cave. Stomping, stomping, stomping. The little tailor tucked himself into a corner to see what came into the mouth of the cave. And there it was, a huge, ugly troll. What a wonderful night I've had of hunting. I'm very much nearly full. And it's going to be my bedtime very soon. I see you, said the troll. The troll had spotted the little tailor. The little tailor was hiding in the corner just to observe, to watch what the troll was doing. He was not afraid at all. Oh, said the troll, I'm almost full, and you would make a very nice tasty morsel, my supper before I go to bed. Oh, well, said the little tailor, hold on a second. I think that before you eat me, I should have one last request. Oh, yes, said the troll, and what exactly is that? Well, said the little tailor, maybe I could show you how I can juggle. I've been learning to juggle, you see. Juggle, said the troll. I haven't seen anyone juggle before. Yes, go on then, show me. Well, said the tailor, if you just stand there, perfect, and then I will show you. And the little tailor got his juggling balls and he began to juggle. Just watch this. Hold on a minute, full start. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that. Oh, yes. Hey! Woo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! Well, the little tailor juggled and juggled and juggled, and the troll was so impressed. Whoa! Oh, yes! Whoa! He stood and watched, transfixed by the little tailor's juggling skills, which actually were quite good, even to say he'd been practicing and wasn't very good the day before. Whoo! Woo-hoo! Hope I'm not going to get eaten, thought the little tailor. He carried on juggling, and then it happened, the thing he had been waiting for. Over the mountains, a bright light rose. It shone and it shone its beautiful, bright, bright rays. And the rays crept along the ground and then over the troll. If you didn't know, if sunlight hits a troll freezes. It goes to stone, turns to stone just like that. The little tailor had turned the greedy old troll to stone. And now the troll just looked like he was part of the mountain. Well, said the little tailor, my juggling skills, whoop, 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 have come to good. The little tailor popped all of these things back into his bag, put his bag over his shoulder, and carried on along the way. There we go, he said. This way. He went down the other side of the mountain and carried on along the road. On and on and on the little tailor went, until he came to a town. Beside the town, up on the hill, there was a beautiful palace. All of the palace windows gleamed in the sunlight, and there were gems, diamonds all over it. But it looked as if nobody lived there. The little tailor made his way to the local inn, and he sat down for some dinner. And whilst he was sat there, he overheard the innkeeper talking all about how the king would not live in his beautiful palace. Why is that? Said the little tailor. Well, said the innkeeper, there's something in there. The king believes it's haunted. Haunted, said the little tailor. Great. Take me to the king, and I will tell him all about how I am trying to find fear, and I will go into his palace and find out what the problem is. That night, the little tailor was situated in the palace. Oh, he said, this is quite grand. I could get used to this. He sat there in the palace and he waited. I'm going to find fear, he said. I'm going to find fear, and I'm going to find it here, and I'm going to be very, very happy, and then I can go home to my beloved and we can get married. Nothing happened. For quite some time, the little tailor was beginning to get quite bored. Oh, gosh, I just want to find fear. And if I can find out what's going on, the king has promised me a cartload of gold. Oh, who's going to sniff at that? And as he was thinking this, a low groaning and moaning began to come from deep within the palace. Oh, said the little tailor, here it is. The ghost, or whatever it is that's haunting this palace. Oh, but nothing came. And so the little tailor took his bag and began to search the palace. He went through different rooms, down passageways, until he came to a staircase. The staircase was heading down into the basement. Where all the frightening things happen, said the little tailor, and he began to trot down the stairs. He got to the bottom of the stairs, and there was a door. The little tailor opened the door. It was very, very dark. He peered inside a massive, massive room. It must have been the basement of the palace. And sure enough, in that room came the moaning and the groaning. It was very, very loud. "Hello!" called out the little tailor. "Anyone there?" Came the moaning and groaning. "Oh," said the little tailor, "it's definitely in here." And he went into the room. His eyes began to get adjusted to the light, and when they did, he saw there lying on the floor a huge giant, massive giant, in fact. And if that giant had wanted to gobble up the little tailor, it could have done right there and then. But the giant was lying there and it was holding onto its jaw. Oh, it was saying, "Oh!" "Whatever is the matter?" said the little tailor. "Oh," said the giant, "oh, it's my tooth. Oh, I've got the most terrible toothache. Oh!" "Oh," said the little tailor, "so you've been moaning and groaning all this time because you've got toothache?" "Yes," said the giant. "Oh, if I didn't have toothache, I would have eaten you up as if you were a little sweetie. But no, it hurts so much. I've been eating too many sweets." "Well," said the little tailor, "I can help you. Now, in my bag somewhere, I have, let me find it. Oh, there it is, a reel of thread. And if I just tie this around your tooth, and I'll see you in a minute, I'm just going this way." The little tailor went right the way back along the giant's body through the basement to the door that led into the basement. And he tied the thread around the handle of the door. "Hold still!" shouted the little tailor. "Oh!" said the giant. And then, with all his might, the little tailor kicked the door shut. Poof! The door shut, and pew! Out of the giant's mouth came his tooth, his rotten tooth. "Oh!" said the giant. "Oh, that's so much better. Oh, thank you." "So," said the little tailor, "now that your tooth is better, would you mind leaving the palace so the king can move in?" "Oh, yes," said the giant. "I'm fed up of living here. Oh, it's so stinky." And the giant took off. The little tailor took the giant's tooth, which was rather large, to the king. And the king was so overjoyed he didn't just give him 1 cartload of gold, he gave him 2 cartloads of gold. The little tailor took the cartloads of gold back home. He was so excited to tell his beloved that he'd got gold, he'd forgotten all about the fact that he hadn't found Fia. When he got home, he went over to his beloved's house and knocked on the door. There was a shuffle of slippered feet on the other side, and the door opened, and there was his beloved's father. "Oh," he said, "oh, I'm so glad you're here. You need to come in quickly. It's your beloved. Oh, she was so heartbroken when you left. She is almost about to die." The little tailor could not believe it. He had left his beloved in the hopes to find Fia, and she had become so sad that he had left, that she had laid down and mourned so much her heart had broken. The little tailor stood over her, and he brushed her hair with his hand, and he placed a kiss on her forehead. And as he did, from out of his eyes came tears. His body began to shake, and he began to feel from within fear, true fear for his beloved, in the hopes that she would not die. And he held her in his arms, and as he did, his beloved's heart began to mend. And she woke up from her terrible, terrible dreams, and she held tight and he held tight. And they knew then that they were to be married, because the little tailor had found his Fia. And the next day, his beloved and the little tailor were married, and they lived above the tailor's shop. And the little tailor made beautiful silk clothes, and they always fed the spider, and sometimes they went to see the troll that was still stood on the mountain. And that is the end of the story.
Now wash your hands.